Yeah. Say. Nee, that's famous first words from the first podcast from 9 years ago or something. That's not what we're going to do now, Jan. Say you have thousands, and I really mean thousands of integration flows. How do you monitor that? That's quite a huge amount of integration flows. And you can understand that if businesses run business critical processes on Integration Suite, and a lot of customers do, then you need to know if your integrations run in the right way, if they run correctly. Are your systems all available in your landscape? Do the flows run as expected? And within the given time frame? Those are really crucial questions, right? And today in our Café, I'm really happy to welcome Jan Curinckx, Technology Manager at TheValueChain, and Marc de Graef. And I really like your title, the BTP Enabler. This is a very nice function that you to have. And both bring a huge amount of experience and of integration knowledge. I saw in your LinkedIn, EDI, SOA. Do you remember the SOA days, Jan? SOA days, SAP NetWeaver, Composite Application Framework. Whoa. And Jan is even trainer for PI, right?
Yep. Marc as well.
Yeah. And Marc as well.
Yep.
Okay. So Jan brings 17 years of SAP experience to the table. Marc brings 29 years of experience to the table. So let's not go into our years, but if we add that all together, Jan, and push the button, that's the wrong button, then we have 102 years on the table.
Oh my, more than a century.
More than a century of SAP experience at this table today at HANA Café.
So I hope this is not the moment that a lot of people will cancel the stream, right?
No, yeah, you might think that's really old. Some elderly people at the table and aged experience, but no, make no mistake, because this is not an old-fashioned podcast. It's also not about old-fashioned knowledge. It's about keeping up the pace with SAP BTP on the Integration Suite and some really innovative projects that those guys have done in the past and still doing. And that's what we are going to dive in today, right? We're getting the max out of Integration Suite. Welcome to HANA Café, the Netherlands.
HANA Café Nederland is een podcast met nieuws vanuit de SAP-wereld. In het café spreken de gasten en stamgasten over ontwikkelingen, innovaties, events of praten ze gewoon weer eventjes bij. Laten we sneller binnengaan.
Ja, and we have a café experience again. Thanks guys for bringing in the real café. What did you bring to the table next to the SAP experience?
The small bottles are the triple d'Anvers. It's a, like the word says, it's a triple. It's a
from Antwerp.
From Antwerp.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. It's only 8%.
Okay, then let's first do the podcast and then go for the 8%.
What about the big bottle?
The big bottle is something we brew with the value chain ourselves, and it's a promotion article. It's well brewed. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So let's record 3 episodes or something, so that we have also the time in between to drink those nice drinks.
So this is the second time we have people from the value chain on the table.
Yeah, but now
this is almost asking for a third time where they give us the secrets of brewing beer.
Yeah, this is setting some expectations, right?
Yeah. Maybe you should have a non-BTP podcast sometime.
Yeah.
A beer podcast.
We can do that, and then we can invite Joris, because Joris also brought drinks to the podcast.
We'll have a beer TP podcast.
Yeah. Let's go back into the content, because I think we have a lot to do. If we have to summarize 102 years of SAP experience, then I think we are short on time. Welcome, Jan.
Oh, thank you. Welcome, Twan.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. And we just discussing before the recording. Marc, I really like the story how you get into the SAP world. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that.
I started in 1995 for BASF, the chemical company, and I started with as a consultant in SAP, doing the normal SD, MM, PP, FI, CO part. And after the project, and the German people say, yeah, Marc, you have to choose one of them, SD or MM or whatever. And I say, I want to do everything of SAP. And they say,
you have a huge interest in everything.
Yeah. And they say it's not possible. And I say, can I do integration? Then I can touch every module of SAP. Oh yeah, you can do that. And then I started also the EDI Competence Center for BASF from Brussels out for the whole group, in fact. And that's my early days in the 1999, I started with integration on SAP.
But that's not Integration Suite.
That was not Integration Suite. That was mostly still Mercator at the time. Later it was IBM product, and then with Web Methods I worked, and then the first XI 2.0 we started with XI 3.0, and then process orchestration, and then so on. And then we came to cloud integration in the last 4 or 5 years.
You've seen them all the products, all the solutions on integration in
Yeah.
an SAP. Wow, cool. Yeah. Okay.
This is the same reason as why a lot of people are choosing to be in the ABAP space, by the way. Same reason. They want to do everything. They don't want to be stuck to finance or SD or warehouse management, etc.
Yeah.
They just want to have everything.
Hungry for everything. But also where all the innovations happen. And if you go to, for a module or a functional line of business solution, then you have what you get from SAP. And if you go into the more in the custom solutions, like integration or custom developments, then you can create your own solutions.
Nice things is of the modules is that you know the modules, and that the integration makes it much easier because you know the business also behind it.
But that was the case 29 years ago. Right? If you were as a developer or an integration specialist and you knew something about the functional models, then you had really value in the project. But it is still the case. If you're doing B2B now and you're a developer and you do not know anything about the backend systems like S/4HANA, then it's tough. But if you know what online business solution you have,
it's where you start. You start with the functional processes, and then you start looking at the integration.
Yeah, exactly. And Jan, how did you get into the SAP world? Because if you look in your LinkedIn, then it says JD Edwards. That's the past, right?
Yeah, that's the past. So until 2007, I worked for a company, an American company, Donaldson, and they had JD Edwards. Indeed, I was a project manager for the ERP implementations in the end. And I said to myself, project manager, that's not something I want to do my whole life.
Okay.
So I wanted to do something more hands-on.
Yeah.
And then I attended an info session on SAP from Curinckx, a company in that time where Marc worked for. Marc interviewed me.
Okay.
So I started working for Marc, and when he left Curinckx, I joined him in his other companies like TheValueChain and Proxilence and TheValueChain now.
Yeah.
So that's where I started.
So the reason that you are on SAP is Marc's due to the meeting that you had with Marc.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
And I started with PI and PO, and then
all the integrations.
And I always was loyal to Marc. So.
and loyal to the integration solutions. I think if you have 102 years on the table, that's an applause, right? It's really cool. Okay, so let's go into then Integration Suite, because the title says getting the max out of Integration Suite, and I think we have done in the past, Jan, we have done more Integration Suite podcasts as well. And I think it's also, we always say, if you draw an architecture, the integration is always somewhere in the middle. It's the heart of your intelligent enterprise. If you do not have your integration
central nervous system,
or what we also say is without integration you cannot have an intelligent enterprise.
There you go.
Yeah. So if you go to customers, Jan, what do you bring? Of course, your years of experience, but how do you do integration projects at your customer?
The first thing that I did when we started CPI at a customer was thinking of a concept.
Okay.
Because if you start developing iFlows packages in CPI and you don't start with a certain concept, you get lost, and you will have a system which is not organized. So when we started with a project, we thought of how can we structure the development of iFlows and packages. Yeah. And we came with a concept that we always, when we go to a customer, we introduce them into that concept. Yeah. And I must say we have more than 1,000 iFlows. And if you look for an iFlow,
really huge amount.
And if you look for an iFlow, you find it immediately because of the way we are structured. And that's a big advantage of first thinking, how will I do it? And then start working.
And is
often it's the other way around.
Is it just naming conventions, or are you using something specific?
It's naming conventions, but it's also the way we structure the iFlows. So we have different types of iFlows that we use. When a message comes in, for example, we use like what we call a routing iFlow to dispatch the message. We use orchestration iFlows if there's more different steps in an iFlow. We use processing iFlows if you send it to a system, and we link them together, in fact. So that's in very short how we organize it.
Yeah. It's a little bit like object-oriented way of putting iFlows.
But
in
also
the system,
with the knowledge of SAP PO, because there you also had receiving, then the integration, and then the sender adapter and the receiver adapter. So it's a bit of the same, the routing and sending it to a target system. Yeah. That's where it's based on.
So you're basically reusing certain
concepts.
Certain concepts.
Flows. In your main flows.
Yeah.
Similar to what I believe that SAP has something similar, which is called Enterprise Integration Patterns.
Yeah.
Is it related to, or is it?
It's a little bit related to that.
Yeah, you can compare it, I think. And what we do is we also use we create templates, and a template for a routing iFlow, a template for a processing iFlow, and when you start developing, you can copy a template, and it's a big gain of time to develop that way.
Yeah, we have also those initial templates. When we go to a new customer, we can copy them already as a head start, so you don't have to start from the beginning. You start already with the basic dispatching, routing, whatever. So if you still have iDocs or events coming out of SAP, so we have those flows already prepared. So you only have to concentrate on the real processing of the iFlow.
It looks a little bit. I come from the development background, and not specifically the integration part. But then, of course, the first project you just try to learn the job, and then you get in a bigger job, bigger project team, more developers, and then sometimes you think, hey, we should think about things before we start actually developing, and then you come with application standards, application development standards, and that's what we did when I was still working for Capgemini, and then we share that with other colleagues, and then you see that in every product it looks alike, and then if you come then to support, then it's really easy because you understand how they set it up, and that's also what you meant with your concept.
Yeah, indeed.
Talking about application development, if you do application development and you create a new project, you always have the possibility to go through a wizard and to select your archetypes. This is going to be a UI application, or this is going to be a backend application, and you have this wizard, right? Next, finish, and then you have some sort of scaffold. And I kind of miss that. Coming to think of it, I'm kind of missing that in Integration Suite. It doesn't have this wizard. Like, I want to start an integration flow, and what type of integration flow is this, and should it be caching things, and should it be queuing things, and that sort of things, before it actually puts down a scaffold. And this is basically what it appears like is what you build.
Yeah, indeed. When we started with CPI, it was an empty box. Huh?
Yeah,
there was nothing, so you had to invent something yourself. Huh? There is there's the base layer that you have, but there was nothing. No templates or things like. You have standard content, of course, of SAP, but that's very specific for a certain use case. Yeah. But for the rest,
And the integration advisor that we have is what does that bring to the table for on integration?
We don't use it.
No. Okay.
Not even for EDI scenarios.
We have developed for a customer EDI flows, and I use the mix for the structure of the message. But we still do the mapping in CPI because we are used to work with the mappings in CPI.
Right.
And we don't use Integration Advisor because of the different technology. And I also read a lot that it's not that easy and not that flexible to work with.
I can tell you that a lot of work has been done in the EDI space. And that we have not only the integration advisor at the moment, but also things like trading partner management.
That's something we use,
And there you go.
Yeah. But there you also have the possibility to work with the custom flows, that you, with the process direct, that you call your own flow in which we implement the mapping. Yeah. So we have set up, or we have used trading partner management, and that's a nice solution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a nice solution.
Yeah.
Also, a lot about, sorry.
Yeah, also in the concept, what we think about is that not only building, but they have to run also those iFlows. And that's very important, operational support afterwards. We know everybody that Integration Suite, if an iFlow goes wrong, you cannot reprocess it. So in our concept, there is also a reprocessing mechanism.
You build it yourself.
Yeah, we build it ourselves with exception, and we worked also with a little bit workflow and rules management in there. So we use process build automation as a product from SAP on BTP.
Nice product, right now.
Yeah. So if an iFlow goes in error, there will be a task generated based on the content. We're going to assign it to technical people or business people, and they get a task and they can reprocess the iFlow completely.
That's really powerful.
Yeah. Then
Are you saying that because you're doing this fellowship with the process automation product management team? Or
Of course. Okay. No, but again, so monitor, as I just said it also in the beginning, if you have thousands of iFlows running and you need to monitor them, and you need to monitor them in a structured way and only look at things that have something wrong, an error, an exception. And because if you go for 990, they are okay, but if you have clicked 990 times, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, and for the monitoring, we also looked at, you have the standard monitoring of Integration Suite, but we had a question from the business side because they say, integration is a black box for us. Yeah. So we want to have more insight in that Integration Suite. So we built on top of it also a kind of monitoring tool. Yeah.
Oh, so you have two personas. You have more the technical persona and you have the business persona.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are looking at the same information, but you have your presentation is different.
That's also a little bit the naming conventions. Our names of iFlows are functional names.
Yeah.
We're not giving it a technical name, we just give it a functional name. Yeah. So if business people are looking to the iFlows, they have a notion of a business process.
Can you give an example? What if you, for example, look at one iFlow? What do the technical people look? What do they see, and what do the business people see?
Yeah, the technical people see information about the iFlow itself, some header parameters, some properties in there. The payload is also visible for the users. If there was an error, which technical ID where they can look into the system to see which iFlow really went in error and to do the reprocessing based on that. Business people look more for the functional part, processing logistic goods to partner or whatever. We give it a name, and with that name, they can say, that's that sales order process or finance process of logistic process or HR process that they can follow up.
And can they only look at information, or can they also do something in the dashboard?
They can drill down to the content of the information. And the portal that we built is even role-based, so we can filter out if you have HR data, they are only visible to the people who has the role of HR. So we made a role-based concept also in that portal, and today we have a solution that we deployed on every customer, but now we're making also an SAP product for that. So it will be also on the SAP portal in some
We're going to productize it.
Yeah, we're going to productize
the
it.
SAP store.
On the SAP store. Yeah.
So everyone can use all this 100 years of plus of experience and can buy the product, and then you have this business monitoring, technical monitoring on your integrations.
We see a lot of technical monitoring, but business monitoring. We had one customer that did an S4HANA move, so from ECC to S4HANA, and they explicitly asked to have our portal to do some testing, because the business people say we're going to move from ECC to S4. There are some interfaces, and they used our portal to do their functional testing of it.
Okay,
no, but did you consider things like AIF?
Yeah.
We looked at it.
Which button should I press?
No, it's not.
It's looking at the reaction.
Yeah, AIF is more an inside-out solution from in the application itself, and our monitoring is a little bit helicopter view over a lot of applications. So it's another point of view that you look to the kind of monitoring.
So you can use it from other applications than S4.
Yeah. You can also monitor if you have an integration which not even touch any SAP system. Mm-hmm. You can still monitor it. And where AIF, you have to go inside SAP to see something. But if you have, let's say, another kind of CRM to another kind of logistics system, where SAP is not in the picture, then our monitoring tool on BTP still gives you the information of it.
And how do you make the distinction between what's supposed to be routed to a technical person and a business person? That's
something that you learn. So in the beginning, when we start a project, everything goes to the technical people. Yeah. But then you see some of the data which is missing in the iFlow is more functional. Something is missing in the business partner of SAP. Then we say, we're going to assign it to a functional people who has to go to SAP and then modify something in SAP and reprocess it. So there is no technical people involved in that that question. No?
So it must be a massive iFlow then.
But
where
we
all the
play
rules are
with
there.
properties, so
Yeah.
the properties drive how the decision on is it functional or is it technical. So
Yeah.
if an error occurs,
Mhm.
you determine is it functional or technical, and with a parameter you identify it.
Right.
And with the rules management,
Yeah.
you can say the first time it goes to technical people.
Mhm.
Afterwards, you can adopt the rules management to say, I assign this kind of error, because we have a gradation of types of errors in there. If that kind of error you can do in the rules manager contains that kind of message, then you say assign it to a more business person.
I guess if you use rules management, that your iFlow becomes way simpler than.
No, it's not iFlow that use the rules management. So if there is an exception, we start up a workflow process
Right.
in business process build automation.
Ooh.
And in that
Oh my God.
workflow process, we use rules management.
Yeah.
So the iFlow does not use the rules management. It's really on the process based.
Welcome to Business Process Automation Café.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you. Yeah, but so let's. Yeah, it's really interesting, and I've been involved in a project 2008 or something. Then as an architect, and then we built sort of thing that you just mentioned. Like we wanted to have also an application monitoring, business application monitoring tool on the interfaces, because we had SAP, of course, but we also had non-SAP systems, and even a system that was from a third party that was not from the customer itself. But we needed to make sure that end-to-end everything was working quite well with the threshold, with the timing, and so on, and to inform people, hey, there is a system that's not here. But we built it on XI with CCBPM, but that was really slow.
Yeah,
And
we did
so,
it also.
So we changed that into ABAP proxies, and that's still running, and I'm back at the same customer now in a different role. And we're thinking of, hey, we have to replace this activity monitoring tool with something modern. And I think so. I will let you know, let them know this podcast and the recording. But so let's go to the building blocks that you use now, because then we used only XI, and that of course became PI and PO, and they are now migrating to Integration Suite. But we're not out that for the monitoring tool. But the building blocks that you now use for your tool that you're going to productize.
So you have two parts. Is for the monitoring, we just use a CAP application, in fact, on multi-tenancy. So it can be used for multiple customers. So we will host it by the TheValueChain as an SAP product. So you have a subscription-based part of it. And what you need is, we provision some data coming from the iFlows. With APIs, we provision the database. It will be a HANA database on top of it. So, and we use the CAP application where they can monitor their iFlows from their side. And so that's the monitoring solution. For the exception handling, we have process build automation, we have rules management, and we have Integration Suite, in fact, that provisions, in fact, the errors in there.
Very nice. Yeah. Next time we visit you, and then we take we bring the drinks, and then I like to see the tool in action.
The demo,
the demo, yeah.
And we did it before, right?
Yeah. So we can do that in the next episode, and then you bring the tool under your arms, and then that's really nice. That's really nice.
HANA Café Nederland met Jan Penninkhof en Twan van den Broek.
Can we go to a customer example? Because I've seen something, and that it blew my mind. It was really, you bring together a lot of technology and to support your customer. But maybe Jan, you can explain.
Yeah, so it was a presentation that was given at SAP once. It's about a warranty application that we developed for Arvesta in Belgium. So they have a situation, they have a dealer network of resellers of tractors, John Deere tractors. And whenever a tractor breaks down, they have a period in which they have a warranty coverage. So what they have to do is they have to register the warranty claim, in fact, that they want to send to John Deere. So they need an application to register the warranty, and Arvesta handles it centrally. So they also needed something to approve the claim and send it to John Deere. So what we did, we developed a SAP UI5 application in which we integrated integration suite. So when they enter a warranty claim, it's sent to the central responsible, and we use also the workflow to plan a task. So the task is planned for the central responsible. He approves it, and then we have the integration with the supplier. So John Deere, we send it immediately to the John Deere system, and then afterwards also we create an order in SAP, or at the same time we create an order in SAP for the financial handling of the claim.
So it's end to end. It's not only focusing on your customer, but it also goes to the customers.
Yeah. So it's a full
Supply
blown
chain.
supply chain. Yeah. So
That's what we try to do. We try to automate processes and make them intelligent by using integration.
This is also the customer that has this 1,000 integrations running.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
So
amazing.
I'm also already working for 12 years for Arvesta. So
so some years of experience are involved.
Starting from the very beginning.
Yeah. But you also mentioned about reprocessing. How does reprocessing then work in the case for Arvesta?
Yeah, so it's what Marc explained. If an iFlow goes in error, we get a task in the workflow, and we have a monitoring team at Arvesta, 2 people that monitor the iFlows, and whenever there's a technical error, sometimes we have receiving systems that cannot handle the volume that we send to them. We get errors, technical errors. So then they need to reprocess it, and with Proxilent, we developed a tool to reprocess in mass, so we can reprocess like 500 or 1,000 or even more tasks at the same time. So,
but without the tool, what do you do if you do not have the tool?
I don't know what we would do. we developed
Run
the
away.
tool. We developed the tool right from the beginning. That was also that was also part of the concept. So the concept was not only developing the naming conventions, the setup of the iFlows, but also we thought of how can we reprocess messages, because that was the missing link in CPI. Yeah. That was also one of the first things that we did from the very beginning.
Yeah, we saw that also the Integration Suite has a lot of APIs available. And that makes it very interesting as a developer to say, we can use those API. We even developed a transport system. We use the TMS system, but sometimes if you're in a project, you have iFlows in that package, another iFlow in another package, so you have to individually select all those iFlows. Now we made an application where you say, in that project, we have those iFlows, and it transports them right away with the APIs of
Integration Suite is capable of handling APIs from backend systems, but Integration Suite itself has also APIs. That's also with process automation. You have also APIs.
Oh my God!
You can even run your rules as a service, but that's from another story.
Integration. Maybe that's worth mentioning that Integration Suite was built API first.
Yep.
And they had the APIs first, and then they built the UI on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another example for a customer is when we went from to S4, we had built a lot of integrations. So our go live, I think it was 15 minutes or something, because we automated the go live on the Integration Suite. So undeploying on another side, if you have a move from Neo to Cloud Foundry, we used it also that you undeploy an iFlow on Neo and you automatically deploy it on Cloud Foundry, just using the APIs.
That's making life easier.
That was also a big project at Arvesta. We moved from Neo to Cloud Foundry with 1,000 iFlows.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that was not simple.
No, but then you built a tool to support you in that. Yeah.
But of course, you still have all the relations with the business partners. So you cannot switch. One day you can switch a number of iFlows, but you cannot do that all at the same time.
Yeah, that's a transition.
Because you have the dependencies.
So it's really powerful to have those functionality. But the functionality is not available in Integration Suite. But you mentioned there's something is coming up. Jan? No?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Was it a scoop that was not to be shared?
Maybe. So it's worth mentioning that
I can beep you out, so if you want.
I can beep you out as well next time you tell something about process automation.
Ooh.
Yeah. It kind of puzzles me how you turn a podcast that was about Integration Suite into something that is completely about process automation. But it's give me those buttons.
But continue, Jan, with the content.
So we've had more customers basically doing the same thing, right? And also looking at the topic of reprocessing. And we noticed that in proof of concepts, we are already able to take all the APIs together and to turn it into something that would do basically that, reprocessing, right? So, and now some clever people have thought of, seeing if there's a possibility to include it into products. But whether it ever see the light of day for end customers, that will be the question.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, scoop.
Yeah. No, well,
No, not yet.
SAP can buy our product, huh?
It's in the store available soon, right? Yeah. That's really. But I really love how you bring then all the expertise together and then use it for your customers, but now also make it available to other customers. And is it a click and run, or is it also some consultancy involved before
In the beginning, it was some consultancy, but now we have the packages available, so we can start up very
that's
fast.
nice. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. You also mentioned a really nice customer case that was with some distance involved.
Yeah.
Maybe you can elaborate on that one.
Project, or still going on a project in Australia. So we developed
Australia, so the different continent,
the other down under,
different time zone.
He has to get up early in the morning.
Yeah, sometimes 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. We have some meetings, but it's a very nice project. So they do. They're in the mining business and they have plants, and in the plant something can go wrong, damaged or something like that. So we used in the plant maintenance area notifications or maintenance requests. So in the beginning they had to take their bike and whatever, then they run back again to the office to type in the maintenance request. They have about more than 10,000 maintenance requests a year. So there is damage a lot in the factory. So it takes a half an hour. So you can imagine already 10,000 multiplied by half an hour. So we did not build, they built an application and we just provided with API management. We provided all the data coming from the SAP system. So the application just use APIs. They don't know anything about SAP, the guys who built the application. So it can be equipment, function location, everything which is master data we provided. And then the creation of a notification. And today we're finishing up that also the work orders can be created from a distance.
Okay, with this app.
With that app,
But the people that built the app did not use SAP technology?
No, they use another vendor. But they say, there is also an SAP solution, but they do a prioritization of those notifications. And that's there is a kind of logic that they build in the app, but they need the data from SAP. So we provided them through Integration Suite, through API management. We provide all the data, and it's real time.
And then now they save time because they don't have to travel between.
Last year we did the first part of the notifications, so they won in fact 10,000 multiplied by half an hour. What's the business value of that?
Whoa.
So that's a lot.
That's value.
Yeah, that's business value. Yeah.
Okay, nice example as well. Nice example.
HANA Café Nederland.
Already mentioned, so we have 102 years of SAP experience at the table, and I also already said in the beginning, this is not old-fashioned knowledge, this is not retired knowledge or elderly knowledge. It's really innovative what you use. So maybe Jan, Marc, maybe do you have some tips? How do you keep track of all new things happening in the SAP world, in the integration world? How do you stay connected to what's happening? Some tips.
If you see BTP platform, there's a lot of things going on. New services coming in there, and you have to keep track on it. So also internally, we have some sessions where we have some subjects that we discuss internally. So we have to learn and keep track of the new technology. And sometimes the technology SAP goes further on and then they stop the service, so you have to choose the correct ones. And I think on the integration part, we really have a good view on that, and it follows also a little bit our vision to say, okay, SAP is really following what we need on integration, and that's you see the roadmap of Integration Suite is really the one that we want for the future. But you need your consultants to be up and running. So we have our own SAP systems where we train the people on it and give them an opportunity to keep track of it.
You need to stay up to date.
Yeah,
And you have a lot of documentation of SAP. So I think also in the beginning we did a lot of self-study with SAP material, and I think that's one of the nice things of SAP, that you have a lot of documentation available.
I know there are also a lot of development journeys on the development part, on the process automation part. I will not like to push the button again. But is that also, I do not know, is it also available in Integration Suite? Do you also have developer journeys?
You have a lot of blogs. And those blogs can really help already a beginning developer on Integration Suite. I
can also imagine that the knowledge that you have, the experience that you have with your customers, that's really interesting also for SAP product management on the Integration Suite.
Yeah.
Do you have a link to them?
Yeah, I know in Belgium we work very closely to SAP. When a customer says, we need a complex integration thing, then they call SAP, and then sometimes SAP calls us
that's a good thing.
To help them. That's a very good relationship.
What also is important, I think, is if you have a lot of experience in functional processes, because that's where it starts. When you develop an integration, and that's something that young people have to learn, and that's not easy.
Yeah, because they come from the technology part and they just want to connect A to B, but then they don't know what's the big picture.
And that's what I see at the customer. The more experienced people, they start with the project, they define the context and define the processes and the interfaces, and then you give it to someone less experienced to implement it.
Yeah, because integration is not the technology. It's first the architecture that you have to put in place. And we see it in a lot of projects that they don't think about the architecture first, because you have a lot of you go event-driven, API first, or orchestrations or B2B. You first have to build or design a good architecture, but every customer is a little bit different. So it's not a copy-paste that you can do. I think even with Arvesta, we have still ACE 400 systems that we enable through APIs.
Two not, but we have SAP ECC, we have SAP S4, we have ACE 400. It's a very complex landscape, and that's why we have so many iFlows.
Yeah, I can imagine that if you look at those kind of, just now you were talking about the entire supply chain of John Deere to Arvesta to its customers.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't understand that entire spectrum, then I think you would have a huge challenge even to build your integration flows.
Yeah, indeed.
So it doesn't come only. I can imagine that technical savviness on a certain tool is not enough. That it comes with experience as well, right?
That's
and it's easy for us because we have a century of experience on the table. But maybe it does make sense.
That's what we try to do with the younger consultants. Also, not only on the technology, but we help them also to learn the processes, and then they get added value for the customer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned also event-driven. So if you look at modern architectures, they are event-driven. How do you also use Event Mesh, for example?
Yeah, we use Event Mesh, and we have the standard integration as SAP S4 to enterprise messaging. That's out of the box. That you set it up, but we use also event-driven with other applications, non-SAP applications, which are often, not designed to use event-driven, but sometimes they develop for us an event-driven architecture.
Yeah. You mentioned a nice use case before.
The weight bridges.
The weight bridge?
Yeah.
Now the weight bridge, I don't think you can say it's event-driven. It's more...
It's wind-driven.
Wind-driven.
But so you have to explain this.
So what, you have to explain this.
So what we do, or what we did for two shops where they use a weighbridge. So we sent, in fact, a continuous stream of weights from the weighbridge to enterprise messaging, and from enterprise messaging to an, can I say it, OutSystems application, where we manage the sale and the purchasing of material. It's not really event driven, but it's a flow of messages that are sent from the weighbridge to the application, And we try to do that when the weighbridge is really working and not being idle. But like you said, it's wind driven. Sometimes we have wind on the weighbridge, and that also triggers some weights being sent to our system.
This wind weighs 10 kilos.
Didn't you do something like that a very long time ago?
Yeah, with Leo. Yeah, so
Hoi Leo. Leo Hengel.
Leo van Hengel, yeah. So that once at the SAP Tech at the Demo Jam, when we still had those nice community event, then we brought in a case with composite application framework.
Well, that was not the thing that you did in the spandex.
No, that's something for cyber. Yeah, that's different. No, let's go not there. Let's go there.
Just want to remind you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think Sven already removed all those videos, so that's good. So you cannot find them anymore. But then, for coming back to the weighbridges, was a case for an afval. Was afval in het Engels? Waste. Yeah, thanks. Waste company. And then we said, okay, the truck comes in with the waste and the truck comes out without waste. And then we can weigh, of course, we implemented something. Then we connect to the weigh bridge and then we can send those information to the relevant system. So, but then we went on stage with a toy truck and a very small scale that I used to, my wife uses to measure the weight.
In the kitchen,
not in the kitchen, but
your weight.
No, yeah, but my wife's weight. That week she could not do that. But then that was the case, and but with all technology, composite application framework. But that reminded me on those days. Leo, it was a really nice. If you're watching, it was a really nice demo jam experience as well. Yeah. Okay. So Jan, are you ready for it?
Moeilijke vraag van Jan.
We moeten niet doorheen praten.
Jawel, toch?
Nee, ja, nu wel.
Okay. Okay, you mentioned maximizing Integration Suite. What is the
mentioned it.
Oh.
I made it up.
You made it up.
Getting the max out of Integration Suite. That's what I said. Yeah.
I was wondering what.
But you're not asking me, right?
No, but I've heard a couple of things that could potentially be part of this maximizing the value of Integration Suite. Which are the things that you would consider part of maximizing the best? How do you mention it?
Getting the max out of the Integration Suite.
Yeah, what Twan said.
For me, I always come back to the concept, because that's something you will have the implications throughout your whole journey with Integration Suite. So if you want to have the maximum out of Integration Suite, you have to have a solid layer. That's, to me, the basis.
And the solid layer architecture.
Solid layer was the architecture, reusable components, things like
exception handling,
monitoring, reprocessing,
all these components together.
And I think we used almost all of the adapters in the Integration Suite. So it's, as an architect, you have to see that you can build really solutions on top of the Integration Suite.
Have you built your own adapters?
Not yet, because most of them are available. And as an architect, we see API first and event driven. Mm-hmm. And then if you go to API first, most of the application can do APIs. If not, you can make them API enabled. So then most of the adapters that SAP has already built in the space of Integration Suite can be reused, or they are built in SAP. I think we had one of Kafka, and there is now a Kafka adapter. So you see that what I said already in the beginning, that SAP product team is really getting involved in the roadmap, and that's very nice for us. That if we have an idea, a few months later, it's already in the product store.
We read your minds.
Yeah, I think so.
Twan, would you allow me to just one single tiny little topic? It's actually not that single. It's tiny, but it's a topic. Would you allow me? It's an important topic.
Yeah, of course.
I would just want to mention there and see how these two great guys respond to it.
Yeah.
Edge integration cell.
Very important, I think. Yeah.
Also a question of our customer.
Yeah.
And what did you do?
Yeah, you see some of the customers, there are some, they are afraid of cloud. So customers still have process orchestration, so you have to move them. And perhaps it's a first step to go to edge integration cell, but also on production systems. We don't only integrate business systems and administrative logistic systems, but also production systems. Then sometimes 24/7 7 days a week. In fact, the system must be available. So they are afraid if internet falls down, that their production systems fall down also. So Edge integration cell would be a solution on that kind of solution. Yeah,
I think a lot of customers are waiting for the release of that one.
It's available already.
But they waited. They waited a long time for being it available.
Yeah.
It was a question if we went to the cloud also with our integration solution.
And
but
the nice
I
thing
need to have something on premise.
Nice things is that you can even develop it in the integration suite and just deploy it on. You have to see what kind of adapters you need on the Edge integration cell, but the developers can do just the same thing as integration suite. It's just a deployment that is on premise.
If I'm still interested, I really like to see demo. But if our listeners or viewers want to see a little bit of your integration solution, can they already see somewhere? Do you have a video available, or is it part of the product?
It will come by the product pitch that we're going to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us know so that we can add a link to the.
You get a sneak preview.
It's going to be on the store.
It's going to be on the store. So we did already a subscription to the SAP portal. So now we have to provide the information, marketing material, and so on.
Yeah, and then wait for SAP.
And wait for approval of SAP.
Okay.
It's not the first product that we promote on the SAP portal. So
you have the experience and know the.
Done it before. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it was really amazing to have 102 years of experience at the table, and the enthusiasm on integration, the passion on integration was really showing off. Thank you very much, Jan. Thank you very much, Marc.
Thank you.
Jan, dankjewel.
Yeah, thank you very much, Twan.
Yeah,
it was an honor again.
Yeah, it was, and it was also fun. Yeah, and thank you very much for watching the integration show, getting the max out of the integration suite.
Integration suite, Twan.
Integration show. No, it's not an integration show. No, okay.
No, it was almost a process automation show.
Process. Ooh. Thank you very much for listening in, and see you next time.
Dankjewel voor het luisteren naar deze aflevering van HANA Café Nederland. Heb je feedback voor ons? Laat het dan zeker weten. Wil je ook een keer aanschuiven in het café? Stuur ons een berichtje en geef gelijk aan waar je het over wilt hebben. Tot de volgende keer.
Bye. Yeehaw.
Zo, de eindigen. Zo, lekker warm die.